For more than 4 decades, audiences around the world have recognized Liam Neeson as the embodiment of strong, resilient men. Whether portraying Oscar Schindler, Michael Collins, or Brian Mills in Taken, he has always appeared as the man willing to face danger to save others. On screen, no challenge ever seemed great enough to bring him down. Real life, however, follows no Hollywood script. Behind the deep voice, calm demeanor, and quiet resilience that the public has always admired is a man who has had to learn how to live with losses too profound to put into words. Some wounds are never erased by time. Time merely teaches us how to carry them each day. In interviews over recent years, Liam Neeson has rarely spoken at length about himself. He has never been one to dwell on his hardships or turn personal tragedy into a story for sympathy. Yet it is precisely that silence that has made his rare reflections all the more poignant. To understand why millions of people hold Liam Neeson in such high regard, we must go back long before he became a film star. His story did not begin in Hollywood, but in a small town in Northern Ireland, where a young boy grew up amid the upheavals of his era and learned his first lessons about endurance. Liam Neeson was born on the 7th of June 1952 in Ballymena, a small town in Northern Ireland. It was not the kind of place where children grew up dreaming of Hollywood. Life there was simple, close-knit, and shaped by hard work, faith, and traditional values rather than glamour. His father, Bernard Barney Neeson, worked as the caretaker of a local school. His mother, Catherine Kitty Neeson, worked in the school kitchen. They were not wealthy, but they taught their children that a person's worth lies in diligence and self-respect, not in appearances. As the youngest of 4 siblings, Liam learned early on to observe more than he spoke. He has recalled that in their modest home, emotions were rarely expressed through words. Affection was shown through everyday acts, a warm meal, a few encouraging words, or simply being there when the family needed one another. Liam's childhood also unfolded against the backdrop of deep social tensions in Northern Ireland. As a Catholic family living in an area with a large Protestant population, he witnessed divisions from an early age that adults often tried to shield children from. Even as a boy, he could sense the caution in people's behavior and the atmosphere of uncertainty that surrounded everyday life. That environment helped shape the man Liam Neeson would become. He was never someone who enjoyed talking at length or displaying his emotions publicly. Instead, he learned that silence can carry its own weight. A glance, a pause, or a few carefully chosen words can sometimes express more than a lengthy speech. If his childhood in Ballymena taught Liam Neeson patience, the boxing ring taught him how to confront fear. At the age of 9, Liam joined his local boxing club. At first, it was simply an after-school activity for children, but as he trained, he realized that boxing was about far more than learning to throw punches. It taught him to stay calm under pressure, to get back up after being knocked down, and to accept that victory does not always belong to you. For several years, Liam competed in youth tournaments and achieved a number of encouraging results. Yet what stayed with him most was not the victories, but the feeling of stepping into the ring with his heart pounding from nerves. He once said that courage does not mean being fearless. It means moving forward, even when the fear remains. Few people know that alongside boxing, Liam discovered an entirely different passion at school. During a stage production, a teacher gave him a small role. At first, Liam regarded it as nothing more than an assignment. But when he stood before an audience and delivered his first lines, he experienced something entirely new. It was not the thrill of victory he had known in the boxing ring, but the joy of becoming someone else, of telling a story, and of connecting with the emotions of the audience. Even so, Liam's path into the arts was anything but straightforward. After leaving school, he attended university for a time before quickly realizing that academic life was not for him. He went on to take a variety of jobs to earn a living, operating a forklift truck at the Guinness Brewery, working as a laborer, driving lorries, and taking on various other forms of manual work. Those years brought him no fame, but they gave him a deep understanding of the lives of ordinary working people. Liam later reflected that those experiences helped him see himself as an ordinary man, fortunate enough to become an actor, rather than a star, somehow above everyone else. Looking back, he understood that without those difficult years, he might never have developed the depth needed to portray the seasoned, solitary and deeply introspective characters that audiences would later come to admire. Then, after many changes of direction, Liam Neeson finally decided to stake his entire future on the stage, a decision that would change his life forever. In 1976, Liam Neeson joined the Lyric Players Theatre in Belfast, where he began to develop his craft as a serious actor. There were no shortcuts or special privileges. He patiently worked his way up from minor roles, learning the value of hard work and respecting every opportunity to perform on stage. After some time, Liam moved to Dublin's Abbey Theatre before gradually making his way into film. His first major breakthrough came with Excalibur in 1981, where he met actress Helen Mirren. They shared a relationship that lasted several years, and Liam has always acknowledged that Helen helped him mature, both professionally and personally. The person who truly transformed his life, however, was Natasha Richardson. In 1993, while appearing together in the Broadway production of Anna Christie, Liam and Natasha quickly discovered a remarkable connection. They shared not only a passion for acting, but also the same values regarding family, sincerity, and a peaceful life away from the spotlight. Their relationship developed naturally. For Liam, Natasha was not only the woman he loved, but also the person with whom he found a true sense of understanding and belonging. After years of relentlessly pursuing his career, he found himself thinking less about the next role and more about building a home. The early 1990s marked the greatest turning point of Liam Neeson's career. In 1993, he starred in Schindler's List, directed by Steven Spielberg. The film became not only a cinematic masterpiece, but also earned Liam his first Academy Award nomination, establishing him among Hollywood's leading actors. For Liam, however, his greatest achievement at that time had nothing to do with awards. In 1994, he married Natasha Richardson in a simple ceremony surrounded by family and friends. Their first son, Mikhail, was born the following year, followed by Daniel in 1996. Once a man whose life revolved almost entirely around work, Liam now devoted every possible moment to his family. Those close to them have often said that Natasha was the person who kept Liam's life balanced. She prevented him from being swept away by Hollywood's glamour and constantly reminded him that, after every film, the most important thing was coming home to the people he loved. Although his filming schedule became increasingly demanding, Liam always tried to make time for his wife and children. On several occasions, he even turned down projects that would have kept him away from home for too many consecutive months. In 2000, Liam was involved in a serious motorcycle accident that left many fearing for his life. Fortunately, he made a full recovery. He later admitted that Natasha and their two sons became his greatest source of strength during that difficult period. Looking back on those years, Liam once said that he believed life would continue peacefully. He had a career at its peak, a wife he loved with all his heart, and two young sons growing up in a happy home. In March 2009, while Liam Neeson was filming in Toronto, Natasha Richardson traveled with her family to the Mont-Tremblant ski resort in Quebec, Canada. During a beginner's skiing lesson, she unexpectedly fell and struck her head on the snow. At first, the accident did not appear to be serious. Natasha was able to stand up, chat with those around her, and even joke that she was perfectly fine. Feeling no significant pain, she declined medical treatment and returned to the hotel to rest. Just a few hours later, however, Natasha's condition deteriorated rapidly. She developed a severe headache, lost consciousness, and was rushed to hospital. As soon as Liam received the news, he cancelled all of his commitments and flew to Canada. What awaited him at the hospital was a reality no husband ever wishes to face. Doctors confirmed that Natasha had suffered a catastrophic brain injury and that there was virtually no hope of recovery. Years later, Liam recalled remembering a promise they had made to each other long before. If either of them were ever left in an irreversible condition and kept alive only by machines, the other would allow them to pass away peacefully. Standing beside her hospital bed, Liam held his wife's hand and told her that he loved her and that she had given him the happiest years of his life. He then brought Natasha back to New York so that their family and closest loved ones would have the chance to say goodbye. On the 18th of March 2009, Natasha Richardson passed away at the age of 45. In the midst of overwhelming grief, Liam still chose to honor what he believed Natasha would have wanted. The family agreed to donate her organs, helping to save the lives of 3 other people. It was an incredibly difficult decision, but one that reflected the kindness and generosity that had always defined Natasha. In the space of just a few days, Liam Neeson lost his wife, his soulmate, and his greatest source of support. From that moment on, his life entered an entirely different chapter, one in which he had to learn how to keep living without the person he loved most by his side. After Natasha's passing, Liam Neeson had almost no time to fall apart. His 2 sons, Mikhail and Daniel, were only 13 and 12 years old at the time. They had just lost their mother, and Liam understood that he now had to become the only pillar of support they had left. He later admitted that those first few months were the most difficult period of his life. Every morning he would wake up feeling as though Natasha had simply gone out and would soon return. But reality revealed itself through every empty chair, every silent room, and every familiar routine that no one would continue. Fortunately for Liam, Natasha's family stood firmly beside him. Actress Vanessa Redgrave and Jolie Richardson, Natasha's mother and sister, were frequently there to help care for the 2 boys, creating a home where they continued to feel surrounded by love from both sides of the family. Liam did not try to hide his grief from his sons, but neither did he allow them to see him completely broken. He focused on ordinary routines, taking them to school, sharing evening meals, talking with them every day, and doing everything possible to keep their lives as stable as he could. He once said that grief never truly disappears. It comes in waves, sometimes quiet, yet at other times crashing back unexpectedly because of an old song, a family photograph, or a familiar scent in the house. For a time, Liam turned to alcohol in an attempt to ease the loneliness that awaited him after returning home from filming to an empty house, but he soon realized he could not continue that way. His responsibility to his 2 sons forced him to stop, because he did not want them to lose their father after they had already lost their mother. Rather than allowing grief to overwhelm him, Liam chose to turn it into the strength to carry on. He accepted more acting roles, not only for work itself, but also to keep himself occupied and provide his sons with a stable life. Perhaps it was during those years that Liam Neeson became more than simply a celebrated actor. He became a devoted father who quietly carried his own grief so that his sons could grow up knowing they still had a home to return to. In 2018, his eldest son, Mikhail, made a decision that deeply moved many people. He changed his surname from Neeson to Richardson, his mother's family name, as a way of honoring Natasha's memory and preserving her family's artistic legacy. Liam fully supported the decision. He understood that it was not a rejection of his father, but rather his son's way of keeping his mother present in his life. Father and son later appeared together in the 2020 film Made in Italy. Fittingly, the film tells the story of a father and son trying to overcome the loss of the most important woman in their family. For Liam and Mikhail, many scenes were far more than performances. They reflected emotions they had genuinely experienced in real life. Liam later shared that there were days when filming forced them both to stop for long moments simply to regain their composure. Even so, he believed the film helped them talk more openly about Natasha, something they had both avoided for years because the pain had been too overwhelming. Life, however, continued to bring new challenges. In 2020, during the global COVID-19 pandemic, Liam's mother passed away at the age of 94 in her hometown of Ballymena. Because of travel restrictions, he was unable to return to Northern Ireland immediately to be with her during her final hours. Instead, Liam could only watch her funeral from the United States through a computer screen, an experience he later described as heartbreakingly painful. Losing both his wife and his mother within little more than a decade made Liam realize that time spent with those we love is life's greatest gift. As a result, he gradually embraced a quieter private life, spending more time with family and close friends instead of pursuing Hollywood's glamorous social scene. Those tragedies did not leave Liam Neeson bitter. On the contrary, they taught him to slow down, appreciate life's simple moments, and understand that true strength is not about never falling. It is about always finding a reason to stand up again after every loss. As he entered his 70s, Liam Neeson gradually changed both professionally and personally. He began choosing more introspective roles, focusing on characters shaped by regret, loss, and the reflections that come with later life, rather than simply portraying action heroes. In several interviews, Liam has also openly admitted that he no longer has any interest in dating. After everything he has experienced, he has chosen a quiet life, devoting more time to family, friends, and the simple pleasures he once overlooked. In 2025, Liam revealed a completely different side of himself by starring in the comedy The Naked Gun alongside Pamela Anderson. The unexpected pairing allowed audiences to see a lighter, more humorous Liam Neeson after many years of being associated with somber roles. In the later years of his life, he no longer feels the need to prove anything to the world. What brings Liam the greatest satisfaction is not applause, but simply waking up each day, doing the work he loves, and returning home to the loved ones who are still by his side. If Liam Neeson's story has moved you, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you can join us for more inspiring stories about legendary figures who have touched the lives of millions around the world. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.